Fire the AV person.
Chris, are these cabinets that were out there?
Oh, they are. That is where it was.
Oh,
Did we look
so
in there?
maybe we found the
That's
the
the
slicer.
cabinet.
Well, too late now.
You looked in it?
All right. So again, thanks for helping me out with this. So what I'm going to talk about today is why we should take the future effects of climate change into consideration when we're choosing plants. Nice, you brought snacks.
I did.
When you're choosing plants.
Is
now.
this being recorded?
Yeah.
Yes.
Climate change is a problem that affects the world over. It's caused severe weather disturbances and caused serious changes in the landscape throughout the world. Here in Pennsylvania, that means an eventual climate like that of present-day Southern Virginia. According to John Quigley, the PA Secretary of the Department of Environmental Protection, in the next 50 years, trees like sugar maple and black cherry are going to be disappearing from our forest ecosystem, along with American beech. Hemlocks are going to suffer worse from invasive pests than they already do. It's likely that many other pests that we have not seen previously will become real problems for us. We need to think about the trees we are planting today for the future. We need to think about how the landscapes we plant will perform in the future. We need to consider that the hardiness zones we are familiar with are going to change. So when we're choosing trees to plant in landscapes, think about that tree, whether that tree will still thrive in a warmer climate. Not to suggest we should go out and plant all crepe myrtles, but them, along with southern magnolia, are becoming increasingly more viable plants in Pennsylvania. When selecting a tree, look for species with a wider native range or a more southern one. For example, consider willow oak over pin oak and red maple over sugar maple. One potential issue in large mass plantings are the emissions of the trees themselves. Trees can produce volatile organic compounds naturally, which under the right conditions can actually increase the production of ozone. This may not mean much in a rural area, but in areas with large amounts of vehicle emissions, this may need to be taken into account to ensure that the environmental benefits of the trees are not offset by their own emissions. The U.S. Forest Service has compiled a list of trees and common landscape plants sorted by their emissions, and among the highest emitters are some of the most commonly planted street trees like London plane and oak. This does present a challenge as some of these trees are very adaptable to the urban environment. Other trees such as maple and ginkgo produce less emissions. While we're not landscape architects, we're not redesigning entire urban landscapes, we can take the future in mind when we're working with our clients and commit to planting diverse landscapes that can mature and change with the conditions with minimal intervention. If we don't take climate change into account when considering the trees we plant, our best efforts to create a lasting landscape legacy may all be for nothing. So I encourage you to think about that when you're planning a design, or people are requesting trees and you're making recommendations, to think about those potential issues. And some of the great resources you can use are the native plants database from the Forest Service, which will have a good visual picture of where the native range of that plant is. So if you see something that's looking like looking like the bottom edge of Pennsylvania and north is sort of its native range, you might want to think about something else.
Palm trees.
This does come with opportunities. I mean, there's some really cool plants like loblolly pine and live oak and other things like that, which we might soon be able to actually grow up here, which would be kind of neat. But I don't know if I'm looking forward to working in those hot summer months. So again, I just encourage you to take that extra time, do a little bit more research when you're thinking about the plants that you're going to be putting in for our clients, and that way, even after we have long since left the scene, those landscapes will still be doing well. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good thoughts. Palm trees, guys.